I am Rachel, and I am here with my favorite sister-in-law and chickie, Alana.
Hello.
What are we doing today?
We're doing a half year book.
Book in review,
Yes, yep,
right?
yep.
Our half-year books in review.
Yes.
Yeah. So first, tell me, what is your 2025 goal, like reading goal?
Okay, I have to pull up my Goodreads.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should have had this.
No, you're all good.
Ready to go. Oh, God, I'm FaceTiming someone. Okay, Grandma, I'm like 80 right now. Jeez Louise. That was crazy. Okay, my 2025 reading challenge is 60 books.
So mine is 40, a little less than 4 a month.
Okay.
That's my goal. How far are you in your goal? Or where are you at? How many books have you read? What is like your percent?
I'm at 37 books out of 60 and I'm 62%.
I am 23 books out of 40, so I'm at 57%. You're cruising.
And I had a month off because I had a broken arm.
Couldn't read, broken arm.
Couldn't do anything, broken arm.
Oh, because of your broken arm?
My God.
All right. So of the books you've read, what would you say is your most read genre? What is your vibe so far for the first half of this year?
Okay, well, let me look. I have to go through that category. What's yours? You go first.
I would say mine, surprisingly, is very romance heavy. I'm very romance with scattered fantasy at this point, which is a little unusual for me. I like to lean more towards fantasy with scattered romance, but I've read a lot of romance this year.
Okay, so I'm scrolling through my books right now, and I thought I was going to be more romance, and it is a good chunk of contemporary romance.
Yeah.
But I started the Fourth Wing series at the beginning of the year, Quicksilver.
Oh, yes.
Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I read Crescent City this year. So all of those
you're
outweigh.
very heavy fantasy.
I would say it's half and half, but I don't really have any more fantasy to read now until November when the second Quicksilver
comes out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What has been the best book/series you've read thus far?
My first 5-star read this year was, well, actually, I should look to see. It just feels like I was not reading a lot of good books.
That's fair.
This is hard because I have 2 different categories. Can I say my favorite in my 2 categories?
Well, we'll have an honorable mention, but yeah, say the 2 in the 2 categories.
Okay, so my favorite book that I've probably read this year is The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings, and then honorable mention is Quicksilver. I love Quicksilver.
Yep. So my favorite book series that I've read thus far is the Windy City series. I haven't read a series that I've flown through. Typically, I don't need to read the rest of a series. I can read the first book and now I'm content.
It's very true about you.
I read all of these ones.
Yeah.
Because I needed to read the new one that was coming out. And now I have to wait until next year to get the next book, which isn't technically part of Windy City series, but it is characters that we've met in Windy City. And then after that, I'm hoping we get to go to Northern California with the Wilder brothers.
Yeah.
That would be really great.
Right.
Yeah. Particularly my favorite out of those was Caught Up, which is with Kai Rhodes and Miller. That was my favorite book out of them.
And you got kind of some heat on your TikTok about it.
No. So this is what I have to say about the Windy City. Everyone likes Isaiah and Kennedy. Their book was the only one I rated not 5 stars. But everyone loves Isaiah and Kennedy for some reason. And I feel, so this is my take on this.
Is Kennedy the baker?
No, Kennedy is the trainer. Redheaded trainer. They get married in Vegas.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. Okay. So I think if you read a lot of hockey romance, which I have just started the Playing for Keeps series by Becca Mack.
Yeah.
Isaiah is a lot like those boys in that he's goofy and not serious.
Okay.
And all of the other boys in the series are a little more serious and are just like men. And I think that's why people rate Isaiah's and Kennedy's so high, is because he's a lot like those other boys in this type of book. And maybe that's why. He's like a goofy boy, like who's obsessed with Kennedy and probably should be hit with like HR, like for the comments he makes at Kennedy at work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's great. I liked them, but they are my least favorite characters. They were the bottom of that.
You're into ambitious boys, is what I've come to find out about
No,
you today.
I'm sorry. Ryan Shea is perfection.
Is that the NBA player?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would love a few more NBA players to pop
Would
up
you?
in from this author.
There are like girls that either love like baseball boys, hockey boys, or basketball
I think
boys.
that's the problem is everyone was so excited for these baseball boys. And I will tell you, when I first started reading them, I told you I was excited for the Rhodes brothers.
Yes, you did.
But Ryan Shea
Sure.
is just so good.
Yeah.
Like he's my favorite. Mm-hmm. And I just think there's something different. Like so Indy wasn't my favorite character either, but Indy is Ryan Shea's love interest.
Yep.
But there's something about knowing like her at the games, like in her full glam, like whatever, she's up in the thing, and then like these gals at a baseball game. Like there's something so much more cool about that.
Indoor versus outdoor sports. That's
like
what
the
it
NBA
is.
wives, just something so much more cooler than these like girls sitting outside in the heat. I don't know.
No, you're just not an outdoor person.
No, it was a little more romantic to me, this NBA.
There's a huge difference between indoor and outdoor sports, like the way you can dress.
Yes,
AC,
that's fair.
No AC.
Yeah, that's fair. Mm-hmm. I had a hard time ranking the boys. Like in hindsight, I should have rated. So I rated Ryan Shea, Evan Zanders, Kai, and then I put Rio and Isaiah together. I should have just put Rio and then Isaiah.
Sure.
There really wasn't a competition in that. Like I liked Rio more. The problem I had is I really liked Rio's book. It just kind of felt like there's now too many. Like I'm trying to rate things when all of them are 5 stars, and that's not fair. And so I think that's what happened when I rated all the female characters, I rated all the male, I rated the couples, and then I rated the books. And so it's kind of like trying to even everything out everywhere. Like I really liked these people, but I liked this book and whatever. And so someone said I should never rate things again.
Harsh. No, that's so rude.
But fair. Like I just think
it's not fair.
I just think you probably liked Isaiah and Kennedy and didn't get why. So the problem with it is because I also got comments on people saying that they hate Evan Zanders because I rated him highly. He was number 2 and Stevie is my number 1 gal.
Yeah.
And for some reason people don't like Zanders and Stevie and I don't know why. That actually, again, people don't like ambitious men. Evan Zanders is like super cocky. He like has no problem being flashy. And for some reason we don't like this. I love it. A flashy man who wants to buy her all new rings and like buy her clothes and like what is not to like?
I do like in books when men like are overly like spoiling the girls and the girls are like, this is too much. Like they get mad and I'm like, what's wrong with you?
But I think the
snap
best thing
out of it.
was Stevie didn't get mad about it. She like wasn't mad about it in the slightest.
Do you know what I'm talking about though? Like those
Yes.
books where they're like grow up.
Accept it with a smile on your face.
Yes.
Like
it's hard to take like things from people like when you work hard for things yourself, you know, like you don't want to like take things.
Yeah, but like I want to be wined and dined.
Yeah, no, but not every girl.
That's fair.
Yes.
And so maybe that's why people don't like the Sanders and Stevie, but I love them. I thought they were great.
Yes.
But anyways, again, I think those people that were negative on there liked Isaiah and Kennedy and I rated them so low.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So they're mad.
Yeah.
Everyone is about having your own opinion until it's someone else's.
My honorable mention from a different genre, though, was The Heartless Hunter.
Yeah.
It's just a duology, and I read both of them. It was great.
You did like that book.
I really liked it. I liked both of them. I finished the first and second, so I'm done. Little mini series done.
Well, there we go. That's what you need to read.
I know, it's duology. I guess One Dark Window is a duology. So like I can maybe get through both of those books.
Mhm.
Those seem like long books.
Are they?
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes on that. I also saw somewhere that The Serpent and the Wings of Night is a duology, and I don't think that's true even in the slightest. I don't know. I'm on the second
unaware.
book and it's a million years long.
Okay.
All right. What was your least favorite book you've read thus far?
Let me look. I'm sorry. Do you
No, you're
have
all
yours
good.
offhand?
Yes, I do. Iron Flame and War Storm were my least favorite books of this
My
year.
God,
They were my lowest
hate.
stars and the ones that I can actively remember not liking. Iron Flame took me over a year to finish.
Yeah.
And it was disappointing and not fun. Warstorm also took me a million years to finish. I've read the Red Queen series. Like, I read the first book so long ago, but Daniel and I have been listening to it in the car, and I've had us read several things in between the third book and this last book. Terrible.
Okay, so I kind of have a hard time rating like the worst book I've read just
Okay.
because I'm really
You haven't read
picky.
any bad books?
Well, no, but I'm just like picky with my reading. Like if I'm gonna like spend my time reading a book, it's gonna be a book I've been anticipating to read or like one that actually like.
Okay.
But like if I were to rate a book that I am disappointed in, which is what you said, it would be Onyx Storm. Just because I was so excited to read it because of all the built up hype.
Yeah.
And I think I still rated it like 4 stars, but I was very disappointed in it because it made no sense. Like I just felt like it was a book she was trying to push out.
Fair. I started Onyx Storm on Audible. Haven't
And
finished
I filled
it.
you in on the rest.
Yes, and I feel like I got the emotional state like desired by just watching TikToks.
Yeah.
I feel as if that's all I needed to know. And the way I feel about things that happen in that book that I have not read
Yeah.
just from watching TikToks makes me think if I were to actually read it, I'd be severely disappointed because the TikToks were so much better.
Yeah.
Like the edits of the best parts of the book
Right.
wouldn't be as good as just me reading the book. So I think I'm going to skip that one. That is a series I will not finish.
I kind of, if I'm being completely honest, I feel that way. Like with her, like right now,
You say this like you're not going to read the next
no,
book when
I
it
don't
comes
think I'm
out.
going to. Like this book
Oh.
was such like a like I was really disappointed in it, and I think like I can get the gist from TikTok when the next book comes out.
Fair.
And like if it really is like groundbreaking, like if I'm like missing so many details through TikTok, maybe I'll cliff note it. But I was like pretty disappointed like with this last book.
Got
And
it.
now she's kind of, this may be controversial, but I kind of feel like Rebecca Yarros is being kind of a snot online. Like she made like this real big post about how she owes it to her family, which yes, you do, like to take the summer off, and she's not going to be present online, like she's not writing, so like everyone can quit asking her about when the book's coming out and da 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 da. First of all, you don't need to be rude to your readers. Like this is a series that made you pop off. Like people should be excited, you know?
Yeah.
So don't be rude to your readers. And she like has been kind of rude is what I feel like. And she's nonstop in posting this whole summer. Like every freaking minute she's putting up an Instagram story. Like they're going through like Europe right now, like her and her kids and stuff like that, and her husband.
Okay.
But she's still online actively. So it's like you're not really taking time off.
Yeah.
Maybe from reading, but you're still like, I mean, social media is pretty much a full-time job too.
Yeah.
Like if not part, like so.
Yeah.
But she has said that she's writing a book in between the next Empyrean, whatever that.
Empyrean.
Yes. So she hasn't even started that book yet, and she's taking the summer off. So this next book might not even come out for like 2 years. And at this point, I'm just like over it.
Do you think, switching to a different series, do you think we're not getting the next ACOTAR book because there's so many loose ends and plot holes that she's trying to like build them, and so it's taking a million years to like make a story that makes sense of everything that everybody's pointed out as like a plot hole or like
I feel like we've talked
Or
about this.
do you think she's spending so much time trying to make it something that we're not expecting that it's just not as fun?
I feel like she's working on Crescent City 4 and ACOTAR 6 at the same time. Because I think that's the only way that would make it make sense. Because I think that she's done that before. She's overlapped writing books before. She's been working on two at the same time. So it can be done. Like, she is an author that can do it.
So what if?
Because they overlap. So I think that she's writing them at the same time.
So people have speculated that the next ACOTAR will be like a tandem read situation.
With Crescent City?
No. I think I've heard like, so with Throne of Glass, the first one would have came out, Empire of Storm.
Yeah.
And you would have read it. And then you would have no idea that the next book was actually supposed to be read with that book.
Yeah.
So why it's taking so long is because she's actually writing two books, but they're not going to come out at the same time, but they are overlapped.
I'm a little scared.
Like, where is more, Ben?
Yeah.
So, like, if we're getting, like, a whole more book with a whole other book, but they're in tandem, like, you have to write them together. But then, like, you're not going to release them together.
I am a little nervous about this book because I think it's been so hyped, and I like feel like she's such a good writer, so I'm not nervous, but I am nervous because, like, what if it's a flop?
What
I don't
if
think it
Azriel
will be,
ends up with
but
Elaine? Flop for me.
I don't think that will happen.
I think it will.
But remember, it ended like with like her giving him the brush off. I think they're gonna have a steamy moment, and that will be it.
I hope so. I just don't want them to end up together. And maybe it's a situation where it's a tandem of like there's Azriel over here and there's Elaine over here. Like maybe Elaine goes to the Spring Court.
I just
for all we know.
want to
But
read
I think
about another love triangle, like Tamlin, Farah, Rysand. Like, I just don't want to read about another love triangle with like Azriel, Lucian.
But it's actually like four, like Azriel, Lucian, Gwen, Elaine, maybe Tamlin. We don't know. Theories out there.
Yeah.
Like, could be anything.
It could be anything.
I do think Elaine belongs in the Spring Court, though.
I think that's what she's setting it up to be.
I think so, too.
But in that case, Nesta needs to be in the Autumn Court then.
We're not going to go down all of this. Yes, she does. You're so correct.
We don't have time to do this today.
Like, Cassian is actually going to die, and she's going to end up in the Autumn Court with Eris, but that is neither here nor there.
That's why I think she's working on Crescent City 4 at the same time, because there's so many overlaps and things that have happened, and like, it is not a coincidence. It cannot be. Her books pick pieces of like all the other books, so somehow they're all gonna lap.
And do you know what would be the best thing ever?
What?
Bring back Throne of Glass. Give me another book.
She's not going to.
Oh my god, it'd be the most
but
amazing
I
thing
think
ever.
that maybe like Aelin will get an honorable mention somehow, like in one of the books.
I think maybe she's like piecing everything together. Like, we don't know any of the ACOTAR last names aside from Lucian. We don't know anything. So they could be related to literally anybody.
Yeah.
Anyways,
yeah.
How did we get here?
I don't know.
What was my question? It was, what was my least favorite book?
And I said Onyx Storm was mine. So then
we went down a little rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Okay, do we want to get back on, or would you like to continue down the hole?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
The hole won't end.
Okay. What book surprised you the most, good or bad? Mine was The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I loved the banter between the two main characters. Oraya, I didn't listen to it. Now I'm listening to it, and I'm listening, I was like, what the hell is that name, and who is that? Is that what her name has always been? But Oraya and Rain, it gave Major Quicksilver energy, and I had been recommended this book that like I might like it, and it was a good book, but I was a little hesitant to start it. It's about vampires, and vampires are not my thing. I really like the idea of being beautiful and eternal forever.
Yeah.
The whole drinking blood thing kind of creeps me out, but there's something about the Fae is so ethereal, like earthy and whatever. Vampires are just not ethereal or
Yeah.
like earthy or whatever. They like live in big mansions in the dark with like stone, and I don't know. There's something so much more cooler
About
about
vampires.
that about vampires.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think because you like dark academia and they are
That's
very
probably
dark
it.
academia.
So they
Yeah.
are basically fae but dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I like that.
Yeah.
But the banter gave major Quicksilver energy, and I loved Quicksilver. But there was never a doubt that I would like Quicksilver because I saw all the like edits of the characters on TikTok, and I was like, I think I like this
Yeah.
vibe. The Serpent and the Wings of the Night, didn't know I would like, but I really liked it. So
Okay.
that was a good surprise for me.
Good.
Mhm.
I think mine would be lessons in chemistry. I was hesitant about starting the book for like years.
Yep.
Just because I don't know, I didn't know if it was really going to be my vibe, but
Mhm.
it was like I really liked it. It was very good.
I loved Lessons in Chemistry when I read
Yeah.
it. It
It was
was
very
surprising to
sad.
me as well because I think at that point I had only read like romance, fantasy, or romance. And so
Yeah.
this is not that.
No, and I wouldn't even really consider it a romance
No,
novel.
not at
Yeah.
all. I really liked that book. I thought it was
Yeah.
super funny
Yeah.
and it was just good.
It was great.
That was good.
Yeah.
What book made you the most emotional? Would you like me to go?
Yeah.
Mine was Rewind It Back, so it's the fifth in the Windy
Okay.
City. I did tear up at the end. Like, it was so sweet because this book focuses around like refinding love with like a person that you loved, like they were in love in high school and college and whatever, and then they had a big like breakup, falling out, whatever, and then they find each other again years later, 6 years later. And so it was just very sweet, and Rio is the sweetie boy, and then of course in the end he wraps up the whole series like of watching all of his friends fall in love and whatever, and it was so cute. Yeah, it would be that one.
Mine would probably be My Friends by Frederick Bachman. Friedrich, I don't know.
Friedrich.
Yeah, Friedrich Bachman or Bachman. It was a good book.
Okay. I
Yeah.
have no idea what that one's about at all.
Okay.
I've never even heard of it.
It's I read it for my last. It's rated 4.52 on Goodreads. It was very good. I had never heard of this author, but then I told people I was reading this book and everyone's like, "Oh yeah."
Oh,
Yeah.
so I'm just dumb.
Well, no, I didn't know. Like, he writes like the Bear series. It's like a hockey series about like these boys whose plane crashed somewhere.
Oh,
I
like
don't know.
what
Oh, you know what else he wrote is
Hmm.
a man called
Otis?
Ove or whatever the hell with
Oh,
Tom Hanks. Yeah. Yeah.
oh,
Mhm.
got it.
Yeah.
Mhm. What was your longest read and your shortest read? And you can take that either page wise or how long it took you to read wise.
Well, Crescent City page wise was
Yeah.
the longest book I've read this year so far. Longest like emotional wise like was probably Circe, just because Greek mythology is
That one
kind of
took
hard
you
for
a
me.
long time
It
to
did.
read.
It was during my broken arm phase, so I pushed pause for
That's
a
right.
while. Quickest book I read was the Frida McFadden.
The Tenant.
Yeah. And I also read one of her novellas over the
Which
weekend.
The Tenant we did a whole book review of for our June book club.
Yeah.
So we have a whole breakdown on that book.
Yes.
In probably our last video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What about
Continue
yours?
on. So my longest was Iron Flame. Took me over a year to finish reading. Quicksilver, probably in length, was my longest. That was a big book for me, I feel.
Which is crazy because you've read all of the
Crescent City.
Bibles.
Yeah, I know. But I did listen to those. So
Okay.
it didn't, but they were so long.
Yeah.
But I have read them 2 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
So as of late, Quicksilver was the longest book I've read lengthwise. Mile High also took me over a month to read.
Really?
Yes. Mile High took me a long time to read, and I don't know why. Like, I can sit and say Evan Sanders is my favorite person, but it did take me a month to read. I think that is the longest book in the series. I could be very wrong. I don't know. But it took me a long time to read. And I was still in my reading slump, and then I finished that and I was like ready to go.
Yeah.
The Crash was my quickest read. So another Frida McFadden. I read that in 4 days. So that was my quickest book I've read in this 6 months was that one. Otherwise, all of the Windy City series after Mile High, I read in 6-ish days.
Yeah.
Like they each took me like a week to read.
There we go.
So what books are still on your TBR for the rest of the year? What are you hoping? Are there any books you're hoping to read within the next 6 months?
Yes.
Before the end of the year? Like, what are we going to be talking about in our yearbook recap, do you think?
I have Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. That is one that I've had on there for almost a year now.
Got it.
Excited to read that. Our next book club book is The Only One Left. So
yeah, I should write that down.
Excited to read that. Otherwise, I have Jessa Hastings announced that she's coming out with a new book like out of the blue like 2 months ago, and it's coming out in July. And so
oh my gosh,
yeah, so I'm excited about that. I have it pre-ordered and I'm ready to go, so it should be here in July. I'm excited about that. And then the third book in that Lakefront Billionaire series I'm reading comes out, so
got it.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So
Quicksilver.
And the next one in November. Quicksilver.
And Wicked Part 2. Not a book, but
I'm excited for that in the last half of the year.
Well, we're talking about things we're looking forward to.
Wicked for good.
Yes.
So on my list, I'm currently reading the first book in the Playing for Keeps series by Becca Mack. I don't know. So I maybe should have put some space in between the Windy City series and this because, like I've told you, the boys are goofy in this series. And the boys in Windy City are men and act like men. And they're not goofy.
Sure.
And so I just don't know that I like it as much. I have seen on TikToks, if you don't like the first book, at least give the second book in the series a chance. So maybe that's the case. Maybe this first book is people's Mile High.
Sure.
Like people don't like the first book in the Windy City series. Maybe I just won't like the first book in this series.
Got it.
I'm going to give it a chance. They're all on Kindle Unlimited. Might as well.
Sure.
The other one is Daughter of No Worlds. I think this is a duology as well, if not just like trio of books. This has been on my list for a while. I really want to read it. I've heard good things. One Dark Window will forever be on my TBR until I read it. I do want to read the boys of, is it Toman or Tommen? Toman, The Binding 13.
Oh, people
Chloe
love
Walsh.
these books.
They're all on Kindle Unlimited. I think I need to read them because I'm really in this type of book era right now versus fantasy.
Like it's people's number one reads
I
ever.
know.
I don't know much about them.
I don't either. So I'm willing to give the first one a chance and see how I feel. There's a ton of them, I feel like.
There's 4 or 5, I think.
Yeah.
Is it a sports book?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know much about it, but that is on my list. I do want to read it.
Sports book?
Is it about sports?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I do really want to give it a shot, and I'll probably at least read the first one. Daughter of the Pirate King is also on my list. It's been on my list forever.
I've read that for a while.
And then Magnolia Parks, finishing.
Girl, get going. She read Magnolia Parks 2 years ago.
Like a year ago. It's because I started Daisy Hates, and I think reading those footnotes threw me off. So the problem I had with the first book was I felt there was a lot of unnecessary details added in that I got lost in the where we were even going.
It's from Magnolia's point of view, and she has a lot going on in that little brain of hers, and that's what I like about.
Yes, but I don't need the description of the outfit every time someone enters the room. Yes, I understand.
It's not like that with any of the other characters. None of the other characters do that. It's only Magnolia because she's supposed to be this materialistic person.
I understand.
Yes.
I'm going to get through them eventually.
She grows on you. Like, I feel like anyone
Okay.
can say she ends up being
I
one of my
think
favorite characters.
She'll grow on me when she's hanging out with Julian.
I hate that you already know this.
I had to look it up. It was my favorite.
She looked up all the spoilers for the rest of the series. You don't even have to read the series.
No, I did look up for the rest of the series.
You know
just
the
that
worst
one
parts that happen.
It's one part.
And it's like a significant part.
Yeah, but it's just one part.
3 books more down the line.
It's that far away.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be in like the 3rd book.
No, it's Magnolia Park in the Dark. Yeah.
What is she doing in the 3rd book? Does anything happen? Because like I thought we were getting
so
this.
much happens.
Okay, so see, I really only know that part.
Yes.
And that's so far away. And so
Yes.
that's a real big bummer. I was hoping to read
She looked
that.
up and spoiled for herself. This is spoiler that Bridget dies. And I'm like, she goes, I know her sister dies. And I'm like, why?
I had to because I needed to know why Julian
I
was
cried
crashing
when
out.
I read that. That was it was actually terrible because Bridget is Magnolia's like only true friend in the whole series. And like Magnolia has like, I mean, she's friends with Tara, but I don't know if you've gotten into that part yet.
Have
they
not.
are like frenemies in the first book.
I've only made it like a chapter into the 2nd book, but because I have the physical copy of Daisy Hates, that is going to be my lake book. So maybe by the end of summer, I will finish it since I can't read my Kindle out on the lake
Maybe
because I'm too scared of dropping it in the water.
I love bringing my Kindle on the lake.
In the lake? On the lake?
Well, not
on the boat.
On the boat, yeah.
Yeah, well, I can bring it on the boat if I'm not going to be, if people aren't like getting in and out of the water, because then I'm going to put it in my bag and it's going to get wet for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But I guess if my physical copy of Daisy Hates got ruined, like that'd be a bummer too. But better than a Kindle.
Daisy Hates is one of my favorite characters. I just like the Hates siblings.
So see, I feel like the fact that I like the Hates and like their business means I'd like that type of romance, like a mob romance sort of thing.
I felt that way too.
But I don't know if it's going to be too cringy, grimy for me to read books like that. No. Like other books, like, you know, when people like read mob romance, like I don't know if it's going to be too smutty for me.
Yeah. I see like some excerpts like of that stuff and I'm like, ooh, not for me.
No.
I don't mind a little grime or smut.
Yeah, but like
not when it's the whole book.
Yeah, and so I like that like topic, but I don't know that I like the type of books that are written about said topic.
Julian Hates, I think I said, was like in my top 2 book boyfriends.
Yeah, do you have a top 5 list off the top of your head with the books from the 6 months you've read? Go off of just that. Are there any like top 3?
Like not in a specific order because my brain can't do that.
Yeah.
Right, but The Conditions of Will, probably one of the Crescent Cities. I don't know which one, but I did enjoy those books. And honestly, I have to say probably like Fourth Wing or Quicksilver. Those 2 are tied.
I think I'm just going to group all the Windy City because I'm not going to take up all of my 3 spots aside from Play Along. Keep it out.
Yeah.
It's not a 5-star. That Heartless Hunter and Quicksilver are my top 3 from the first half of the year. I'm excited to read the next Quicksilver book, but I'm really hoping we get more of Carrion. That is what I'm hoping for in the next book. I hope he's a bigger character. Not that he wasn't a big character in the first one, but like
he was more of a side character.
He was a side character, but now he's kind of like a big deal.
He's a big deal. He's back in his homeland. His stomping grounds.
Where he's like
royalty. Or lord, whatever the hell is.
So
I am excited to see
find him a wife.
Yes. I'm more excited to see like Kingfisher as a sweetie boy like this next book because he has cracked his like curse kind of whatever. He's like kind of a free man right now. And he like went through
but there is a lot going on.
Yes, he like saved his. Are they married? Did they get married? I can't remember.
I'm gonna need to do a little refresh.
But like he went through it thinking she was gonna die.
Yeah.
And now she's like queen of the vampires.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? They had to have been married because I think she's also queen of his land. Like
Yeah.
queen
Yeah.
of both lands.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's going through it, but now I just think he's gonna be kind of like a sucker, like Xaden Ryerson. Like, in the
I
second
hope
book when
not,
he's like
because
love
I don't
struck.
want them to lose their banter.
Well, they for sure are. They're in love now. Like there's nothing to banter about.
Well, then I hope the next book's about Carrie and Swift. And I hope you find someone to banter with.
Well, it's gonna be her figuring out how to be a vampire.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So that is the problem I have with this second book of The Serpent and the Wings of Night, is I loved the banter
Yeah.
in the first book, and now they hate each other.
Yeah.
Because they're both on opposing sides.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm bored.
Yeah.
Like, it's both of the... When books dive too deep into... This is what happened with the Red Queen. We got too big into the semantics of, like, I guess, like, their court politics and whatever, and, like, needing to be in charge of this and working with this, and that I don't care. I want just you two bantering.
Yeah.
And, like, whatever, like, yell at each other, argue.
Yell
That
at
would be
each
better.
other.
Interact. I don't need so much of your internal thoughts of what you think you need to do in this situation and, like, all of this. Like, I need dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, I'm big into dialogue
Right.
in my book.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there we go.
Yeah. I guess that kind of wraps up the half year. I thought about changing my goal last night, if, like, I should make it so it is 4 books a month, and then I decided I'm only at 57% with this goal, that there's no way I'm gonna get to 44. Those 4 extra books I would need 8 extra books. I can't math. I would need to do 4 books.
I'm a little lost.
So my goal right now is 40.
Yes.
And so if I did 4 books a month, that's only 10 months.
Okay.
So I would need 48 books to do 4 books a month. But considering I've only read 22, I believe, I would drop down to below 50%, which means I for sure would not make my goal by the end of the year.
You are going to make your goal.
Well, now I'm moving through this Consider Me Playing for Keeps series slow.
Well, you are going to be in Disney for, like, literally a month. So
shut up.
You're not gonna
Yeah,
have
when
time
am I
to
going to read?
read.
No,
Yeah.
I think. I wonder. Well, so the
When
problem.
Austin goes
Here's
back
the problem.
to school, you'll have more time to read.
Here's the problem. The idea of bringing my Kindle to Disney World and reading while I'm sitting in line sounds so great. Aside from
People
Daniel
do
gets
that.
lightning lanes, and so we go and get on the
Yeah.
ride. We don't have time to
Yeah.
sit in line and read.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, if I got one of the Stony Clover, like, jumbo bags, I could just stick my Kindle in, and Daniel can just stand there. Like, I'm just gonna whip out my Kindle and read.
Yeah. The only line where I really feel like you need, like, to keep yourself busy even through the lightning lane is
Star Wars.
No, I don't even think it's that bad. It's the one with, like, the popcorn on the oh my gosh, is it Runaway Railway? The one with the popcorn and different things on the inside. It's like the movie theater and you're going through that line.
Yeah. No, that's the Philhar Magic. So the only time it would be good is when you're waiting for all the shows. Like, because you have to wait regardless if you have a lightning lane or not. Yeah, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway. I don't know.
I don't know what I'm trying to think of right now, but there's also one that's, like, pretty dark when you go in and, like, caverny, but it's not pirates.
Snow White?
No, Snow White does take a while though.
Yeah.
Maybe it is pirates. No, it's not.
It's not. We usually get on that one pretty quick.
No, what's
The Little Mermaid?
No. No, I can literally view it in my mind. We come through this way, there's all the things, and then we go.
All of what things?
Like the gates.
Okay. Haunted Mansion.
And it's, like, kind of wet down there.
It's kind of wet.
Like, it is a boat ride, but it's not.
A small world.
No.
And
I don't even know what park, but, like, I can.
Like Finding Nemo?
No, I have never done that ride.
You didn't ride it last time? Didn't we
It
all
was
go on?
closed. Finding Nemo. Every time we tried to
Oh.
go, it was closed.
I thought we went this last trip.
No.
Oh. Okay, let me think.
Literally, it would
Oh,
open.
the Anna and Elsa one, the Frozen one?
No. We have to move on. It doesn't matter.
All right. Well, that wraps up books and our little
Okay.
tangent of Disney, apparently.
Okay.
But when we come back, after our summer break, we will get to dive into a little more of our Disney trips, and then sooner or later we will have our after Disney trips, which we'll get to discuss the cruise, Disney cruise, and we'll get to discuss Epic. And so that will be a lot of fun to discuss next fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. But otherwise, our only episodes throughout the summer are our book club episodes, and we will be back once Austin is in school.
Which is in August 20 something.
Yeah.
Which
So
is crazy.
like September. Around
Yeah,
September.
yeah.
We'll be back to our normal Disney talks all the time.
Yes.
And books and all of our other random stuff. But
Yes.
otherwise, that's all that we have. That wraps up our first half of the year books in review.
There we go.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.